Can you say hi? Okay, you just lay right there. Hey guys, welcome back to Toddler Art Club. We have 3 activities to share with you today. If you are in our Facebook group, you might have seen our first activity that we have. And if you aren't in our Facebook group yet, go ahead and check it out. I'll leave a link in the description down below so it's easy for you guys to find. If you guys tried any of these projects, tag us over at dudek_doodles or use the hashtag I can't believe my toddler made that. Make sure you guys watch to the end of the video. We have a sneak peek of what we have coming up next month. It's pretty ambitious, so stay tuned. For our first painting, we have the leaf, paint, and print. This one is a multiple activities in one. Bundle up that baby, it's time to hunt for leaves. We collected leaves for about a good half hour or so in our backyard, which is the point, to keep our toddlers busy learning and exploring. Prep can take anywhere between 5 to 30 minutes, however long it's necessary to gather the perfect amount of leaves, and your toddler will know exactly when that is. The actual activity will take between 5 to 20 minutes, depending on your toddler. As long as they're happy and engaged with it, go right ahead. We usually get about 15 minutes or so. So I'd say this activity is a little bit messier than other activities, but you can put a shower curtain underneath your tiny artist or paint in the shower. That's our go-to art studio. I have Des set up with a palette of white, red, orange, and yellow, and a little bit of green off to the side. I'm not a fan of that brown, muddled color you get when you mix all the colors together, so I like to give Des colors that blend well into each other. But I didn't want to limit Des from using green in his painting, so I put that in a smaller container off to the side. Here I'm going to encourage Des to paint as much of the leaf as possible, and I have cardboard underneath him so that he has a surface to paint on while I'm pressing the leaves on our canvas. Make sure that you rub the whole leaf, otherwise it'll come out patchy, as you can see there in our first attempt. Also, I wasn't thrilled with the white background. The leaves would stand out a lot better against a darker background. I think this would look really lovely on a card. If you want it to feel more professional, you could use a heavier paper. I usually use watercolor paper just because that's what I personally have on hand. So I knew after our first attempt that we could do a better job with this project, so we tried it again when we had our paints out for our Thanksgiving themed art process. Check that video out here if you haven't seen it yet, also it's in the link below. Here we tried with a lot less paint, and I definitely made sure to rub down all of the leaf so that the print would be complete. Just a quick note, this circle canvas is actually a cardboard left over from a frozen pizza. Not saying that we eat frozen pizza all of the time, but when we do, I try to keep the circles for art projects. I usually keep all of the cardboard that comes into the house for heavy-duty canvases for Des. Cardboard keeps its shape a lot better than printer paper when paint's globbed on, and it's free for the most part. On to our next activity. If you saw our Halloween video, we use this technique with the jack-o'-lantern face. I love using the sticky paper with Des. It's a low prep activity where we can build a lot of vocab. Prep is fairly simple. We're taping Glad Press and Seal facing outwards and sealing off the tree cutout. I have a template available in the description below, or you can take a piece of brown construction paper, or paper bags even better, and just wing it. I'd say the sticky wall activity takes about 5 to 20 minutes or so. Just follow their lead and play for however long they're content. We get about 10 minutes out of this, not including collecting our leaves, which takes about 20 minutes or so. I don't have high expectations going into these activities since Desmond's only 17 months, and if I can hold his attention for any span of time, I'm pretty happy with that. So conveniently, this art activity is fairly unmessy. For those of you who don't like messy projects, this one's for you. We were able to fit a lot of vocab into this activity. We talked about the different colors, we compared their sizes, we talked about whether they were two-toned or just a single color. I added animal cutouts to add extra vocab that we don't normally use in our art activities. You can print out any images you'd like. If you'd like the same critters as us, I have this link down below. That way you don't have to go and look on the internet and find some pictures. It's just ready for you to print out and get going. We had to pick up some more leaves for this activity since our old ones dried out, but that didn't seem to bother anyone at all. Originally, I drew a ridiculous cartoon squirrel, bird, and owl, but I thought Des would probably get more out of the activity if it was a realistic object that we were looking at.
So that's what we ended up with. We also get to experiment with gravity in this activity. Speaking of experimenting, during this play session, I learned that wet objects do not stick to press and seal, so I ended up just drying all our leaves off on the carpet before sticking them on. And that's one of the benefits of creating arts and crafts with our little ones. We get to show them that art is experimenting with the space around us, which leads us to our last Toddler Club event for this episode. Now this one might be hard to watch if you're like my partner and can't stand ooey gooey types of messes. Alright, here we go. So we just used the tree cutout from our last activity for this painting instead of drawing a whole new tree, and that way we can just repurpose for an easier prep. So I prepped the canvas board with Mod Podge. You can find it at the dollar store. This was my first time using it, so I wasn't totally sure what to expect. Basically, I used the Mod Podge like glue, and then I did another layer over the tree cutout. It took about 40 minutes or so to dry. I recommend opening a window nearby for ventilation. When we were ready to get started, I gave Des his paint, brushes, and let him squish his way through his artwork. This one is definitely the most messy, but hey, aren't we here to create messy memories? Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. As promised, here's a sneak peek at what we have coming up in December. Can you say bye?
Bye. Bye. Got a grumpy baby today.